Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay.
So far.
So far. Well, I'm just going to take care of that, Sudhir.
I got my first shot.
Oh, good for you.
Good for you.
Where'd you
because
get
of my age.
Where did you get it, Sudhir?
SUNY.
SUNY. Okay. Yeah, I have an appointment for March 30th.
My second shot I'm getting on 14th. Valentine's Day. Valentine's.
Ah.
There's a nice present for you. Okay, who's got minutes? Mike, right?
I do, right.
Okay. Did you get my comments?
Motion to approve them. Motion to approve them. If anybody has.
Second.
Okay.
Did everybody read the minutes? And everybody has
Yes. Yep.
All right. I just had one comment. Was a present tense to a past tense of a word, and then the other one was for the EV stations. We just put it on to for power, not specifically for just the EV stations.
All right.
On the last one.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a good job, Mike. That was long. Okay. The review of the planning board.
I still have one from December to review. I did send you guys a copy of it just a little bit ago. Okay. I thought I had lost it. It took me an hour to find it on my PC.
Okay.
But do you want me to? It's the one from December 15th. It was the last one from 2020.
Okay. Why don't you go first, and then Mike, you can review.
Yeah, I can review.
Okay, go ahead, Linda.
Okay, there was only two sites they were looking at. The first one was First Street, Lincoln Avenue. I think that's down in the train yards, if I'm correct. It was sketch plan only, and the plans they had were pretty sketchy. There was a lot of things that were missed. I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily, but there wasn't a lot of meat there.
Okay.
There was concern. It's a site that I believe we had looked at once before. There's something being built there now by Louisi Brothers.
Yes.
And they were going to, in the back, they were going to put a large gravel platform staging area for their equipment.
Right.
They changed their mind about that. And now they're putting, I think, 2 additional buildings.
Oh.
Or at least one. They were talking about one in particular right now. I guess there's room for others. It's going to have loading dock storage areas. There was concern about access in and out and traffic up 155, truck traffic, truck turnaround, a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I guess, maybe of interest to us more than anything was a berm. There was supposed to be a 40-foot high one, but it was lowered because they felt it was too high and didn't provide enough benefit to the local residents, because there are some housing down along there. But I think they're jacking that thing up again.
Okay.
As it was felt it should be as high at least as the houses in the area. So that was pretty much all the notes I took. They didn't take any action on that particular sketch plan at this point.
Okay.
I could add a little to that, Linda.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that they were also, the board was also discouraging the Louisi new buildings, the parking areas, to be so close to residential. They wanted to see more of a buffer in the layout.
Right.
So they were really concerned with that buffer to residential.
Yeah. The other one was Starlight Retail, which is up by the ACO building.
Yeah.
It was a pretty slick looking building, I thought. It had a lot of glass.
Yeah.
They were going to use non-reflective glass, which was good, certainly for the birds in the area. It's a 3-story building, about 60,000, a little more than 60,000 square feet. The first floor is proposed to have a bank, a 30-seat restaurant, a retail area, a lobby, and an office. And the above two floors, floor 2 and 3, are going to be office space. The building was shifted away from Johnson Road a little bit, and it was suggested that there be trees along there as a buffer. Parking is yet to be determined because there's no tenants yet, but they're willing to bank at least 40 parking spaces. There's wetlands there that will be protected, and a particular fan favorite of the CAC, Paul Rosano, talked about his new knowledge about the solar-based vehicle charging stations, which I think you mentioned in our last meeting, Ellen, and I kind of chuckled. I says, oh, wait, that's coming up in my next report. So there was some questions about whether more office space was really needed, given that so many people are working from home now. But they did accept the concept subject to conditions and some comments that were discussed.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Mike?
Okay. I'll be reporting on the planning board meeting on January 5th. And the first one is 1111 Troy Schenectady Road. It's where Keeler Motor has their dealerships now. And Keeler is proposing to build another dealership on the site where Hewitt's Garden Shop used to be. They're using it right now as a parking lot. And if you notice, they didn't, that's still a gravel lot there. They're going to put a dealership up there. And they're going to put another building up for that on the property. I think that's going to be used for, well, they're shifting all their dealerships around there. And they did mention that they're bringing in, Keeler is bringing in Alfa Romeo.
Oh.
Also Maserati.
Oh.
They're going to have 5 dealerships right there. Okay. And they're, Keeler has acquired the land from really down, if you're familiar with that area, where Phelan Pharmacy is, all the way down to, there's a attorney there, I think his last name is Scubis, but they do have access or gained an easement to allow cars to exit onto Rosendale Road. So they're going to have really that whole stretch from that light where Albany Shaker Road empties out on Route 7 all the way down to the next light there. And a lot of development there. They have acquired the property from that faces Route 7 all the way down to River Road. And they do plan on, there's 3 large lots of land parcels there. They're going to be using all of those. They want a private road that will exit from and back of the dealerships down to River Road. And they also want to put down on that private road as it approaches River Road. They're almost right when it meets River Road. They have plans to put on, build 3 houses there. Now, what they plan on doing, selling those houses or whatever, so there'll be 3 houses down near River Road. One of them, I think 2 of them will face River Road. One of them will be backed up a little bit and facing more on this private road. And they're saying they're going to use that private road because obviously that part of Route 7 there is very busy, and people want to test drive cars. I think they're going to be using that to allow cars to exit their dealerships, not on Route 7 because of all the traffic there, but rather on maybe on River Road. And they can test drive their cars River Road. That's what I heard. So that whole section over there from Route 7 all the way down, and it's kind of an odd shape. We combine all three lots down to River Road, will be all Keeler there.
Mike, hold on just a second, please. Monique, do you know, aren't they? Hey, Ben.
How you doing, Ben?
Hello.
They were going to put in a trail right down to there.
Yes. I wanted to also, I don't know if I properly introduced myself, but I'm with the planning office. I'm a senior planner, and starting like in the middle of, well, in the last fall, Sean asked me to be the coordinator for developing, actually to develop the planning board agenda, working with Zach Harrison. You know Zach, who's a junior planner, and Mike Tengler. And Mike handles like the like minor site plans and change of tenant and a lot of the escrow and things that our town associated with our town designated engineers. I work on the minor and major subdivisions, and Zach is working on commercial site plans and subdivisions. So just so you know.
Right.
So I have, we meet weekly, and some of the, like Starlight is my project. Louise, I had the initial phase. So I know some of these projects, some more deeply than others. But on that Keeler Honda, that's one that Zach's working on. They are proposing, or we would like to see them have a trail through that property to the back to River Road. And it's part of, I believe it's the Route 7 study. Michael is right that they were talking about a road exiting onto River Road. So people who are test driving could get out there, but the board really didn't like that. I think there's still work to be done. The other issue with the trail is it's a kind of a steep slope, so it'd have to switch back a bit. So there's some issues yet to resolve.
Yeah, they did mention that because they had a problem with how people would have to access the trail. They would have to go through the dealership parking lot, which could be a little bit dangerous.
Yes.
So get on the trail. Now, from what I heard, there was going to be a walking trail and a bike trail.
I think it's supposed to be both, yes.
Oh, but
So,
you're right, because there is kind of a steep slope. If you ever went to Bell Road there.
Right.
It wanted it to kind of go like this, down. So
right.
like Lombardo Street in San Francisco.
We could only hope.
We'll just have the Maseratis and the Alfa Romeos on the sides. I would go down that road.
They need flower pots too along the way.
Right. That's right. So I think there's, to your point, Michael, I think there's still some design work, because you're right. The board was concerned about having a trail in the middle of a parking lot and, buffering and things like that. So hopefully we'll see them try to reconfigure that so it's more safer and more attractive.
There was also a comment made, if I recall, that they're getting complaints from the people on River Road for the amount of traffic that people test driving their cars. So a lot of activity over there, a lot of new car activity.
I also don't like the idea of a car exit onto River Road because it's very close to another intersection. I think it would be unsafe.
Yeah, there's another little street that kind of winds around back there. A lot, there's a lot to take into consideration there. And also the idea it's kind of a slope there. So that was a concern regarding with the paving of the proper, lots there. And they're going to be, I guess, putting parking cars in back of the buildings. That managing the stormwater runoff, having it all go downhill. So there is a lot of concerns, and I think property will need project will need a lot of attention to it. So there is that concern about the stormwater. Comments made about the number of Route 7 curb cuts. And in trying to limit the curb cuts, you may be able to access all the dealerships from maybe 2 different ways, but then you may have to drive around on a lot to get to the dealership you want. So there's concerns about that, moving the traffic once it gets on the the Keeler site. And also the increased traffic on Route 7 and on River Road. The planning board recommended reducing the number of curb cuts and increasing the number of electric cars. Paul did bring up the issue about, he said that in 10 years from now, all cars sold will be electric cars, which seems amazing. So we'll need a lot of electric charging stations. And the planning board also recommended reconfiguring how they were placing the buildings on the lot, maybe to reduce the traffic flow on there, and also relocating the bike and walking path. So maybe people didn't have to walk through the whole lot to access the trail. And they said, brought up again, special focus on the management on design of the stormwater management there. But they were going to be using porous pavement. So that will reduce some of the runoff. The second project was 616 Columbia Street Extension. And this was close to the ACO building, a lot of development over there. This building site is also a strange pie-shaped building lot, because this is where a Columbia Street Extension and Johnston Road, right? So in doing that, this developer wants to construct 4,000 square foot building. 2,000 foot of that would be a restaurant with a drive-through, and also 8 fueling stations. And then there would be also, in addition, no, wait a minute, there would be, first of all, there would be a restaurant with a drive-through, and then there would be a mini mart with, and they would have the 8 fueling stations with that. So this is already, that area, a high density traffic area, primarily because you have the ACO building there. You have what Linda just reported, they're putting up retail. You have 2 quite busy streets meeting there. So there is a lot of traffic. And so in addition to that, what was being proposed lacked green space and snow storage areas. And they suggested that there was too many fueling tanks, and the dumpster in the front yard was the issue. But when you have a lot that you're building on and you have 2 roads on each side, you know, how do you actually discuss, where do you place the dumpster? And with this odd-shaped lot, it just causes problems with the traffic flow right on the property, going between the restaurant and the mini mart, and there's also a drive-through there. They recommended reducing the number of fuel pumps, trying to improve the traffic flow on the site. There is also an issue with that land has a wetland on it, DEC wetland. So there is a need for a wetland buffer in the site design, add more electric charging stations, and you want to arrange so the traffic entering the property and exiting the property, it's like where you can only exit by making a right-hand turn, developing those curbs where you cannot make a left-hand turn. Because where that property is located, there is, there's a traffic light there, and traffic could be starting up and stopping, and it could be very difficult getting in and out of there at busy times. And then the third project that they looked at was 74A Sparrowbush Road, and that's a conservation subdivision. This was also in sketch. It was proposed 93 lot conservation subdivision on a parcel of land that's 65.5 acres. The design includes 4 new streets to be constructed, and there will need a variance will be needed to allow single-family homes. This subdivision will exit the property, all that new development, through Pollock Road. It doesn't even have access to Fairbush Road, which is kind of strange because that's how the deed of the property, I think, identifies that lot of land. The planning board concerns were there was too many houses for the site, and the lots were too small. There's also a wetlands on this property, and of course, being a conservation subdivision, there's also guidelines of where a certain percentage of the property has to be kept green. What isn't it, 40% or something? So between wetlands and the amount that has to be allocated to the green space, the amount of land they said was available remaining after that was just not enough for 93 houses. When there's a formula they have to work through. The planning board recommended reducing the number of houses, restricting the house size, and also redesign the site layout to protect the wetlands, to ensure that that buffer is there. So a lot of additional development over in that area. And I think this area is very close to a development that's been underway for a while. I think they're still selling homes in there, Meadowdale Estates. I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, on Pollock Road. On Pollock Road.
Yeah, on Pollock Road. And that development is pretty well, maybe it is finished up there, but that development is not as big as this one. And if I recall correctly, I think that the project proposed indicate that they would be accessing some of those roads for to get out to Pollock Road also. So I think this project came to the planning board in sketch plan, and they made it very clear that to go back and rethink their numbers to make sure that they were proposing the right number of homes. They thought that.
May I
Sure, go ahead.
May I interject? Yes, I think I'm not sure if you're all aware of the review process, but it starts with sketch plan. And at that phase, the town departments and the town designated engineer get a view of the project and meet with the applicant in the Development Coordination Committee meeting, or DCC. And then the applicant is given feedback both at the table and about a week later in writing. And then the applicant is instructed not to change their plans, but to bring them pretty much as is to the planning board. So the planning board has this first look, and they can give the applicant a first impression of a plan. So my point in bringing this up is that when a project is at sketch plan, it's at the very initial phases, and it can change quite substantially over the course of review. The next time it comes up, it would be for concept plan. At sketch plan, the board is not approving anything. They're just listening and they're providing feedback. But at concept, the board can approve or deny, or just, you know, tell them to go back. And sometimes a project like Starlight, they kept changing the project, so it kept coming back for sketch and then for concept to be approved. So I'm just saying, when something's in sketch, I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, I'd listen to what the planning board's comments were, but I think you all get to review things at concept and provide comments, right? So it's a little, it's been a little thought through more, and they're supposed to be responsive to all the comments from the town, the TDE, and the board.
I gotta interject. This Keeler, is that a sketch plan?
Yeah.
I believe it was sketch, right? Is that,
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I just want a suggestion to
Yes.
Monique,
yes.
that they can build the test drive just like the car companies build their test drives, because if they have a lot of space now, they are acquiring so much land, they could have their test drives, you know, in that property. Just
Within the property.
so they don't
They should have a
have to go
test
out.
track, is what you're saying.
Yeah, test track.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how fast those Maseratis can go.
That way they don't have to go to River Road or the Route 7.
Yeah. You know what was strange? I heard on that call that they were proposing to, the new dealership was the, well, Alfa Romeo and Maserati. But last, on the planning board for, that was just this last Tuesday, did you hear that DePaula, there was an issue with the planning board? They were proposing to bring a Maserati.
Yes, yeah, I can speak to that one.
There's a corner
That was,
of Mill Road, and Route 7 in my
That's
neighborhood.
correct. That's correct. That was it's been going on for a couple of years. It was DePaula. It was originally supposed to be a Maserati and Alfa Romeo dealership. Poor Mr. DePaula passed away, and then that kind of stalled the project. And then I think they were thinking it wouldn't be those brands of cars anymore. I don't remember if they were thinking of Mazda. Mazda. They were going to go to Mazda. So what happens is, when a project is granted concept, that's only good for 18 months. So if the project is taking longer than that, they have to come to the board and formally request an extension. They can get an extension of 1 year, provided they have the board feels it's a valid reason. So Mazda got an extension.
Okay. So,
Concept.
okay, but wasn't it Maserati in the actual write-up there at one time for DePaula?
It was. Originally, it was a Maserati Alfa Romeo dealer, but then they changed, and I think they wanted to do Mazda.
So now that's going down to Keeler.
Not the Mazda.
No, this is a different project.
Yeah, no, but Keeler.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
Isn't Keeler going to have what they're proposing? Alfa Romeo Maserati?
Yes, at this location that you mentioned, 1111 Troy Schenectady Road. Yeah, this other one's at 947 Troy Schenectady Road. Yeah. As Sudhir was saying, by Millview or Millview. Yes.
Mill Road, corner of Mill Road and Route 7.
Yes. And it was, DOT looked it over, and then the project stopped. So.
Okay.
But there was that same concern about people test driving and the route they would go, and these dealerships, there's issues, to consider.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Right, Martin, do you have Do you have a question or a comment? No?
No, I have no question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Alfa Romeos and Maseratis are they going to sell? One a month? But
I'm
anyway.
gonna get one of each.
Oh, okay, then 2 a month.
You got a lottery, Linda? You got a lottery?
Okay. The meeting 2 weeks ago, we watched the movie. And does anybody have any comments on that other than I'm glad we don't live there?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Um,
was,
Ellen, I could not watch that movie. Is it supposing? Do you have a link that I could watch it?
I will check, Sue dear. I think
Please, yeah.
it's
that,
should be on YouTube somewhere.
Can we get an email with a link if we missed it or something?
I don't know. Lots of times they tape it. And so, but I will, I can check with, that was through the state CAC recommended that film. I thought it was really quite depressing. I don't know if anybody else felt
I
that.
did too. I totally agree with you. Between the noise, the airport there, the port, the what do they call that? The iron
Iron bound, yeah.
yeah, that it just seems, and they also the impact of the environmental and the health of the residents was really shocking.
Yeah, and they have a garbage incinerator there on top of everything you've said.
Yeah.
So it's just disgusting, really.
Well, that
Well,
was the only time we go there is to use the airport. And I guess so many other people, but you really don't understand that the people who live there, how much pollution they have to live with. And, you feel sorry for the kids.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
They also too, these people work tirelessly to get some kind of a response from anybody. And they finally did get I think the people who owned the incinerator or operated the incinerator came to have a meeting. And, I think in my opinion, the guy who was representing the people or the neighborhood, whomever, almost attacked the poor guy, but I'm sure it was from years of frustration that they have been doing this and there had been no result.
Yeah.
It was really quite depressing, and it was I don't know, and I think they did it because they could get away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the government really didn't, I don't think, step up and deny them adding to they wanted to do a new incinerator or add to it. And they just kept adding all of these pollution, admitting.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, the documentary, Ellen, didn't they win something? They got them to,
Yes, they did.
supposed to renew, and they got to
Postpone it or
postpone the renewal.
and
Yeah,
hopefully
like
something
that.
else would be done. But
Yeah.
It has some sort of state law in New Jersey that gives them more tools to be able to better resist this stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I did grow up in a small peninsula in called Rockaway in Queens, New York, and I did for that kid, with the airplanes flying over, because Rockaway is actually just south of Kennedy Airport, and you would get that every 10 minutes. So, and when I was growing up, the Concorde still flew. So every Sunday and Monday at 10 a.m., you always heard this sonic boom.
And it's true. I mean, as soon as I was reading a book, a fiction, and the guy's from New Jersey, and he said, New Jersey's known for, as soon as you start to enter, it's the smell. And, it is. I mean, I've driven through.
There are a lot of refineries. There are a lot of refineries around New York.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we go to electric cars, we don't need any refineries.
I know. I mean, Elizabeth is there too, and Elizabeth is a mess too. I've been through that area quite a bit, going from Hoboken to someplace, west in New Jersey. And, like Mike said, anyone who's flown into Newark Airport, you look down and that's what you see, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah. When I teach environmental ethics, I do a whole unit on environmental racism.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at how many places there are where, all the most toxic stuff is put in the minority neighborhoods.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they were fighting for too.
And it's all around the world. It's not even just in the United States. I mean, Nigeria just won a huge global settlement against ExxonMobil because ExxonMobil has completely destroyed the Nigerian River. And, people who used to be able to farm and fish and stuff and make their livings there are just dying of pollution at this point. And there's a place in Louisiana called Cancer Alley.
Yes.
Because it's got the worst cancer rates in the world from all the gas and oil refineries and chemicals, weapons, plants.
Well, everything comes down through there too.
Right. And of course, the cancer rate is just atrocious in that neighborhood.
I'm glad we live where we do, people.
Indeed.
Well, we've got some toxic stuff here too.
Oh,
we've got some toxic. We've got some toxic Superfund sites and a few other things too that aren't all that great. But we're a whole lot better than some of these other places.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was sad. I really was sad at the end, even though we were making strides.
Yeah.
Why you would have to, to overcome that would be monumental.
I was impressed with the activism.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one of the worst problems ever was in Bhopal, India.
Yeah. I remember that.
It was a chemical plant that went to India to escape the environmental protection laws in the United States in the 1970s or 80s, and it exploded and killed, hundreds of thousands of people.
Thousands of people, and they're still crippled. And you know what? The Indian government sued the CEO of that company, and he bribed the politicians, and he escaped.
Always the way.
Good thing we don't have political corruption here.
That's right.
We're so much better. This is being taped and it will be on YouTube for residents to watch. So I just thought I'd mention that. Next thing we're going to do is the plan for tonight. Did everybody get those? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks like an enormous warehouse that's going in there.
It's actually two now.
And the third one's going to be huge.
And they're going to, I was at the site. I sent one picture because that's really all I could, which is the house that's going to be taken down. But there we go. Okay.
Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah. And it's going to be the house that's going to be taken down. And let me see. This is up here. I think is Old Niskayuna, right? But it's when you go there, there's just buildings everywhere.
Yeah, it's right next to the Pepsi plant.
Yes,
so.
Actually, where the two, I think where the two new ones are going. These two. Over here, the two new ones, and their basically backyard is the Pepsi plant.
So it's not like it's a scenic neighborhood anyway.
Well, and it's the airport.
The airport's this way, right?
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, I passed this quite a bit. Yeah.
There isn't, but I didn't. I couldn't get back here, so I can't say that it's undisturbed land or. What if it was if there was any trees or anything on it? I don't believe so, because I think it's just of the industrial nature
This
of
is
the site.
part of the narrative.
Right.
So here.
But it, it doesn't say whether the land is,
I think it's already been disturbed.
yeah, and on any of the other maps, it doesn't show any trees or anything.
Yeah.
You know how they have
Yeah.
to do the cut line?
Mhm.
There's nothing there on any of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is fully packed with buildings. There's
Right. And so the only thing that they do have, excuse me, they have a lot of the plantings, and the plantings are, are appropriate for the site. But other than that, I don't have any other comments. I don't know if anyone else does.
I noticed a porous pavement
Yes.
in that narrative.
And that's excellent that they're going to be using that. And we're only reviewing the 2 sites, the 2 new ones. They are eventually, this is phase 1, which we're looking at, because there's going to be phase 2, 3, and 4 or something. But right now we're only looking at phase 1. So, and it's just going to be a flex warehouse, which is a warehouse that can be used as offices as well. So I don't know how they do the inside, and they're, I think they're going to be 1 stories. So I think, I don't know, it's appropriately zoned. There's tons of warehouses and parking lots around it. And there's no wetlands on the site. And as I said, I think that the plantings were appropriate. I don't know if anybody has any comment on those.
I was just going to ask, what are those black spots on the plan?
Which,
like the big black box?
this?
I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you've got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a couple of them.
I think there are other existing warehouses. Let me see.
Are those parking areas? I think those might be parking areas.
Okay, I don't.
Let's see if I can zoom in a little.
Well, yeah, it might be because it looks like.
It looks like because here it looks like a driveway and
Okay.
parking
But
would
yeah,
be my guess.
that's probably.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, are all these buildings proposed? I'm just a little confused.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you, Linda.
I said, are all of these buildings here indicated for proposed buildings, or are some of them already?
Some of them are existing.
Okay.
Sheila.
And 2, I don't think. Do you have the existing ones?
I forgot which ones are existing.
Yeah.
Some of these over here. Some of the ones over on the left are in existence.
These
And
two?
on the right are going to be the new ones.
These are the new ones.
Okay.
These are the new ones, and I think they're going to be changing down the line to some of them to be the flex warehouses. But right now they're only addressing these 2 right here, and these are these. Monique, do you have the landscaping one?
Unless it's on the, oh, this is one at page of 4, so maybe it is on here. Hold on. Oh, this is the soil analysis.
Right. And
What is the green space? How much is green space?
It's in the 40s.
Okay.
I don't think I have many questions about this. I mean, it does seem like a straightforward development. I mean, the only thing I would wonder is just who exactly are they targeting to rent this to? Because I mean, it's like it could either it can range from some small office spaces to light industrial related stuff. So, and
yeah,
I guess the second thing I'm noting is that if this is going to be 24/7, what they're going to do about the lighting and stuff.
Well, there's no houses here. It's it's all industrial. I think there are some houses a little further down the street on the other side, but they still have to adhere to the code.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember if this is airport or an industrial zone.
It's airport,
It's airport, right? Because it's,
Yep.
yeah, I thought so. Mhm.
airport, whatever they,
And I don't believe we have we don't have design guidelines for airport zoning district.
no. And the only question is on the one form, they have the green area as 34.8, and then on one of the other ones, they have it higher. So I'll have to get that clarified.
So I can't even read this one. But there's a plant list here.
Yes, and they're all appropriate. There are some Rose of Sharon, God bless you. Rose of
Thank you.
Sharon's, hostas, nothing that I don't think is going to be large and imposing.
This table shows you, shows you the building pavement. I get a little, they have impervious area, green area, porous pavement, pervious area. So I guess I don't know, I'm not sure what the difference is between porous pavement and pervious area. That sounds very similar to me. But
Yeah, maybe we can put that on and see.
But here's a green area of 35.
That says 35.
Yeah.
This one here says 34.8.
Okay, so they rounded up.
Yeah, and then there's another one. But that if it's already disturbed, if it's considered a redevelopment, then we really, they're allowed they're allowed to keep what they had. And
This is what it is currently. So there isn't even a green area marked in here.
Yeah.
As an engineer, my guess is pervious is where water percolates.
Yes, it is. That's right.
Is resistant to percolation. That's all.
Right. But what is porous? I mean, porous penetrates as well.
Right. Yeah.
Pervious, doesn't that mean the same thing?
I probably, my guess is yes.
I don't know. I have to.
Different numbers. Well, maybe we could ask and find
They
out.
do
Yeah.
have soil type analysis too, so it could be that it's the various types of soil are more permeable than others.
I think they are using
I
porous
think-
pavement over here.
Yeah,
And
I think
just to distinguish between porous area and porous pavement, they are using pervious area. That's
Okay.
what
yeah,
I'm
it's something because I think porous pavement is a type of pavement that where water can go through.
right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But pervious area,
Maybe that's what,
I don't know, because a green area is going to be pervious. I don't know what that means.
I don't know exact meaning. You had to ask them.
We'll have to.
I'll see if I can find out what that is.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's a concrete or something. I mean,
Yes.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like where there's maybe spacing so water can go through, as opposed to, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, it's up to them. They're the ones that have to like define this stuff. So
Porous.
Oh, I think I might know.
Oh, Linda, you do.
I'm sitting in my
okay.
office, so I Googled it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And I think that pervious is concrete. Porous applies to asphalt. At least one of the things I'm looking at here says that. I don't know if that makes any sense or if it's even right, but that's what's coming up.
Yeah,
What
what I
pervious
found is porous. It is full of tiny pores that allow fluids or gases to pass through, while pervious is capable of being penetrated by another body or substance. I don't know.
I saw that too, but I didn't know what
Yeah.
that meant.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can find it.
We'll get it straightened out and every bit I'll get an email. So okay, so basically what we want to do for our recommendations, we're glad they're using porous pavement. The landscaping appears appropriate. They do have, I think they did add EV stations. So I think that's really all at this point. The benches and bike racks have been added. The EV charging stations have been added. And everything, it's the airport area GEIS. So
My guess is impervious area is concrete and pervious area is like a tar or macadam where the water can penetrate. Okay, that's my guess.
okay,
But Ellen, because Ellen said this is in the airport GEIS, that means that they're going to have to do mitigation for their transportation impacts and for water. And there's usually like, sometimes there's a recreation fee, and then the town collects that and can use it for various, projects. But it's a way to get back some compensation for impact.
okay, is everybody okay with those comments, or does anybody want to make anything else?
I'm
Okay.
good.
Looks good.
Looks
All
good to me.
The next thing is, let me see. Oh, our update on Conservation Day. I haven't talked with Paula yet. I hope that she will call me tomorrow so that we'll know what we're doing as far as location and whether or not, if we're at the library, if they're still doing the tent. So once I get that information, I'll get it to you, and then we can decide if we're not going to have the tent, do we still want to do it at the library, only because there's no protection. I did go to George's, and he, even though at the beginning before Christmas, he told me he could give me the pollinators at the same price. He can't because they're going to raise it, but it's still only $1.50, which is still a really, really good price. So he will know March what they will be getting in, and then once I find that out, we can make a decision. We can order 300 and still be within our budget. Okay, does that sound reasonable to everybody? And then the toughest part will be deciding how many to give out to people. But hopefully if we designate a spot early enough, we can get it maybe on the sign in the front. We can get it in the Spotlight newspaper. We could even probably get it in the library news or something like that, so that we will be able to give out as many as we have. And leading right into that, Sean, Monique, and I spoke yesterday, and one of the things that we talked about were some actions that we could take. So Sean proposed 3. We're really kind of working on all 3 of them at the same time. The boot wash stations that we had been working on with Prism last year, but because of COVID, everything stopped. That's back in the mix. Mary Beth emailed me, and we are applying for that again. So they will be the stations that we put at the major entrances to the trails, explaining what they are, why we do it, and a little informational piece. So that is in the works. The next thing is the let me see, where did I write it down here? oh, last year we had so many things left over after the Conservation Day. And so Sean had suggested, I thought it was a really good idea, to have a town nursery, that some of the things that we have left over, we find a place. I know he's been talking to Jack Cunningham, so that when the town needed something for their buildings and things like that, we could use what was left over. We would bag them, you know, like in the burlap bags, kind of find a place in the town, on town property with water. They were also going to talk to Michelle. And that way we could, you know, build an inventory and, you know, then, you know, have a nursery that the town could use for town properties. I investigated it a little bit, and there are several places in Massachusetts that have municipal nurseries. They, however, had gotten a great deal of money through grants, and that might come up for us at some point in time. But in the meantime, what does everybody think?
It's a good idea.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's gonna dig the holes? Is that you, Sudhir? Are you gonna dig the holes?
We can all dig. Everybody dig.
Where's Ben? He can dig. Okay, so I think that's one of the other things that we can investigate and work on. And you know, I think Parks and Rec would probably be the ones who would maintain it, but we also have to be a big part of it. And then the next thing is the guide for plantings for the town. What we would like to do, and I've started on some of it, is to actually have trees, shrubs, perennials that really are, that we would like to see in the town, and that are not really specific to our zone, because there's so much zone creeping going on, but something that we would be pretty confident to give out to developers and builders, which we do now, but there's some things on there I think we want to get rid of. So we can, I'll get a copy of that to everyone, and then you can work on it, look at it, see if there's things you'd like to taken off and things that you'd like to put on. But we also have to make sure that it's something that will exist and thrive here. Okay, everybody, does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, just don't put down stuff that you like, but stuff that will fulfill, you know, the the sustainability for the temperature and the conditions that we have around here. Like we've already had more snow this year than I think the last 2 years. I think it was cold the other night, colder than it had been in a while. So we need to make sure that you know, even though there's zone creep, and they've, you know, now I think we're 5B maybe. We used to just be 5, but now 5B. So that's something we can work on. And Martin and I and Monique will be virtually attending the Tree City USA, which starts I think next week. So, and we will bring back, Martin, I'm sure will be bringing back a great deal of knowledge. And usually we get to go for a really nice lunch, Martin, but I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So that's what we'll be, you know, we'll be doing next week. And I hope you guys are getting all of the emails that I'm sending with the webinars and whatnot that are being offered. Okay. And I think that's it. I'm done talking. Does anybody else want to talk? Yes, Sudhir. You want to talk, or are you waving goodbye?
You're muted, Sudhir.
Sudhir. You have to take your mute off. I don't know if he knows that. We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
He might just be having the mic problem because I mean he was.
Yeah, he was unmuted and he muted.
He was. Okay, Sudhir, now.
Try talking.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he can't hear us now.
I think he can hear us. I think it's just a mic issue.
I do have a
waving his hand.
I do have a quick question.
Sure.
Were we supposed to complete the town paperwork, the ethics?
Yes.
I never got that.
Okay.
Who would I get in touch with? Or
that comes from the lawyer's office.
okay, so if I just call the
Right.
the
And I
town
don't
hall.
know. Wait, if you have to do it, I have to do it every year.
I thought we did too, but and I know I think you mentioned it in
Yes.
last, maybe one of our last meetings or something to make sure we get it done. And I looked and I have not
Okay.
gotten anything.
Did everybody get one?
I think I sent it in, but I don't remember.
Okay. Because I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure if we have to do it
think,
every year or when you're appointed. And I have to do it every year because I'm appointed every year. But you guys have a longer appointment.
All right, well, maybe then it's every 2 years.
Martin, did you get one?
Yeah, I got one. I thought it was like every year we're supposed to get that as long as we're on
Yeah.
participating in that board.
Okay.
Has to do it every year. I don't know about boards, but we do it every year.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
well, committee, rather. Sorry.
I'll find out and I'll let everyone know. How's that?
Okay. Good job. Go ahead, Laura.
I was just going to say, how do we find out? So it sounds like Linda's going to take care of it.
Yeah, I'll call them tomorrow.
Okay. And Linda, were you able to touch base with your guy at the Times Union?
I haven't yet. I thought it might be a little too early. Although, are they still working remotely? But I'll
Okay.
give them a call.
Okay.
I've been spending a lot of time at home smoothing out
Me too.
newspaper sleeves.
Me too. Just in case.
Then I knock them over and I have to start again. They're
When
too
I-
slippery.
When I called them, it took them about 8 days to get back to me. So,
Okay,
you know.
I'll get on that.
and they might not be back to work yet. Anybody else? Okay, guys. Be safe. Be well.
You too. You too.
Take
Take
care.
care, everybody.
Good, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Bye, Ben. Hey,
Good
you're
night.
gonna be doing the shovels. Our
Make the
nursery.
motion.
Pardon me?
Who's gonna make the
Oh,
motion?
somebody make a motion.
Oh,
I'll
I
second
will.
it.
Okay, second by Martin.
Okay. Okay, good night, everyone.
Paul,
Good night.
Later.
well,
Everyone.
bye.